Hi guys, Fernandes Lembo on the grid. John, it's not often that we have breaking news here on the grid, but you have some you just learned literally 5 minutes ago. What is it?
Daniel Lapointe, the AD over at Manatee, just called and said Manatee's game with Palm Harbor University will be played on Thursday night instead of Friday night, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Right. The reason being, we're expecting some pretty heavy winds from Hurricane Matthew on Friday, and Manatee was concerned about the bridge, got the Skyway closing because of those winds, so they rescheduled it for Thursday. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised if more teams followed suit, given the weather report for Friday. So we could see maybe some more games played tomorrow night. We'll see as today and tomorrow progresses.
You live up there. If somebody had to take a roundabout way, not using the bridge, what route would they go? How much more would it add on to their trip?
It put some time onto the trip. I know this year I had to cover some Pirates spring training games, and the fog was really bad in the morning, so the Skyway was closed. I mean, it's not impossible. It doesn't tack on like 2 hours to your trip, but you know, if you can avoid it and if you can play the game earlier and both parties agree, I think, you do it.
Yeah, I think as these weather forecasts become more crystal, I think you might see some schools alter their plans a little bit.
And I think, too, that's one of the two district games this week. Riverview plays Riverview in the other one. So, you know, that's a game they have to play. So it's not like they can wait until Friday, roll the dice, see what happens, and we don't play the game. That game has to be played. Right, sure. So they're being, I guess, more proactive than reactive.
Quickly jump to volleyball. You had a pretty good match last night, at least on paper. Venice swept Cardinal Mooney. Venice has already clinched a top seed in the district. I guess they face Ocala Trinity Catholic on Thursday. Yeah,
that's a big match, and Coach Wheatley is pretty excited for it. They were the runner-up in 4A last year, Trinity Catholic. They're also going to be part of the Battle at the Beach tournament on Friday and Saturday.
A
lot of really good teams coming for that one. I think a couple aren't coming because of the weather, but Manatee will be there, Plant, Berkeley Prep will be there, Trinity Catholic. So if you like really good volleyball, there's no other place to be than Venice this weekend. I mean, you're going to see some teams who will probably, if not win state championships this year, will be in the mix to win one in their classification.
Talk about perennial right there. Venice in volleyball.
And this year's team is just so good, so many hitters from different directions. They got a lot of height too, so they're definitely going to be a tough out in the 8A district and regional. They could be playing for a state championship again this year.
You know, quickly jumping back to football, last week, we've been talking about how the matchups have pretty much gone according to what we thought. Last week, Braden River and Venice both won, setting up their Titanic match on the 14th. In the district matchup.
And they're both off this week too, so each coach has another week to prepare. It should be very interesting.
Right. What game were you at again?
I was at Venice.
You were at Venice game. Sarasota hung tough for the first quarter, right? And then just got steamrolled.
Great first drive for Sarasota. Took about 6 minutes off the clock. Brian Gagg did a good job of getting the ball to receivers, taking chunks of yardage. And then, unfortunately, Sarasota couldn't keep up with them. They couldn't stop Matt LaRoche, Bryce Carpenter, Javon Hiley. I mean, there's so many weapons offensively for Venice. The defense tightened up. And before you knew it, it was 28-7, and then the clock was running. So yeah, I mean, Sarasota had a good first drive, but they just couldn't match the firepower of Venice.
Very few teams have. I think their average victory margin has been like 35, 40
nobody
points
has.
this year.
I mean, they really haven't. No one's really given them or Braden River really haven't been challenged yet this year.
Clearly at the top of our poll, as they deserve to be. I was at the Titanic Booker Bayshore struggle. Actually, Booker and Braden Christian won their first games of the year. And Bayshore achieved sort of a mini victory. They scored their first points of the year. Booker got their first victory under Dumaka Atkins. Looking ahead to the Manatee game, we got Manatee, Palm Harbor, Riverview, kind of the only district matchups on the slate.
And Manatee, as you said, plays on Thursday. So that should be interesting. Palm Harbor beat Riverview early. I was at that game. I still thought Riverview was the better team and should have won the game. But Palm Harbor, they're pretty pesky. And their quarterback, Cameron Mouton, as I said, very impressive. He was slippery. I'm curious. They're going to try the onside kicks again, like they did against Riverview with the big high bounces. They might do that because Manatee's offense is finding its groove in order to kind of keep Fordham and Booker and A.J. Colagiovanni off the sideline, let them touch a football. I think that, in the sense, is the best defense against them. So I wouldn't be surprised if Palm Harbor had the big onside kicks and tried to just win the possession battle.
I will be at a game, hopefully, that will end before 10:10. I will be at the 7 o'clock Cardinal Mooney Southeast game. Cardinal Mooney is winning games. They're winning games closely. But I'm anxious to see Drew the Scary Squad because I've done a story on them. I'm anxious to see Southeast, how they look. So this might be an interesting battle.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think it'll be fun. A little more interesting last year, Coach Meckley's first trip back to Southeast since he left. That's kind of, I mean, that whole thing's run off a bit because coaching. But yeah, I mean, I saw Southeast play. I like their quarterback, Alex Taylor. Did a story on him last week. it should be a nice game. They're both two teams. I think they're going in the right direction. They're both improving, and they're both two teams that are in the hunt for their district. Mooney won their first district game last week. Southeast 2-0 in their district. So it's a nice little tune-up before bigger games down the road.
Yes. We've been doing our locks of the week.
Yep.
I guess we've been keeping track. We're both undefeated, I believe.
Yes.
But we're running on a teams to pick.
We are.
My lock of the week this week is after seeing Bayshore against Booker.
Right.
I'm never going to pick Northport as a lock of the week, but I am picking them as my lock of the week against Bayshore. Talked about Bayshore. They haven't made the playoffs in years, and they just lack weapons.
Yeah.
Even on this level, you got to have skill position players. They lack them. So I'm going Northport as my lock over Bayshore, and yours is?
I'm going to go St. Stephen's beating ODA.
Right.
They're longtime rivals because they're first time they're ever playing in a Sunshine State game in that conference. They're both in the Coral Division. And if St. Stephen's wins, I believe they clinch a playoff berth. The top two teams in each division go to the playoffs. And if they win, at least they clinch a playoff berth the second straight year. They went to the championship game last season. I think St. Stephen's is a far better team. I think they win tomorrow night. Or Friday night.
I'm teasing a story that we both sort of overmatched on. Doing a story on Michael Birch. Dennis mentioned it in his column on Saturday, how a guy is coming back from 2.5 years from an enlarged heart, a thickening of the heart membrane. He's coming back playing his first varsity game since a freshman. So look for that on Friday night at St. Stephen's. Just a couple of things. Not many guys from the area make the pros.
Right, yeah.
Very, very few even get called up to the local team. Tampa Bay Bucks, Booker High grad Jeremy Butler, called up from the Bucks practice squad. We sort of lose track of guys like that. Last year, he had 31 catches for the Ravens, was cut in their final cut this game, this season. So he joins Vincent Jackson and Mike Evans, maybe giving Winston another target to throw to.
Another pair of hands, and with the way the Bucks have played the last few weeks, I think any help is good help.
Yeah, I think it was good. Not to stay on the Bucks for a little bit, but Winston, I don't care who they have, he has to stop forcing throws in, just take the loss and live to play another down. But he's going to learn to do that.
Right, and back to Jeremy Butler, it'd be kind of cool. People around here can, I mean, they're not home this week.
Right.
They're on the road in Carolina on Monday, but pretty cool when the hometown kid not only makes the pros, but makes the pros 50 miles up the road.
Yeah, one of the final cuts, and I don't know why, because he had a great preseason for the Ravens, but I don't know their wide receiver situation.
Right, yeah.
But they cut him, so look for him. And also, we got the Tri-County Championship swim meet down at the Aquatic Center at the YMCA.
On Saturday.
I'm sure you've covered it. You'll be from 9 to 12. 19 schools, 477 swimmers, 1A to 4A. This is always kind of a big event for swimmers in the area, isn't it?
Yeah, we have pretty good swimmers in the area. Obviously, Riverview is kind of the class of the area, both boys and girls. But Ranch has good swimmers, and Charlotte's had some good swimmers in the past. Bayshore has had a couple really, really good swimmers in the past. So that's a nice thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if a few of the kids or relay teams who win on Saturday don't win at the state championships in a few weeks, because we have some pretty good swimmers in this area.
It's from 9 to 12:15, 19 schools, 477 swimmers. We're wondering, are they going to be able to get everything in that 3-hour period? Something like swimming can run over.
I will say this. I covered the Tarpon Invite in Charlotte about a month ago, and they ran that thing like a machine. They got over 45 minutes early, actually. So if you have the right people running an event, it can move quickly, and they've done this so many times at the YMCA. I wouldn't be surprised if they got it in quickly, because if you know how to run your event and the kids and the coaches cooperate, it does move pretty fast.
Great facility, and Sherwood Watts has been associated with local swimming for years, so should be a nice event. Check it out if you
pretty cool. Yeah, great volleyball in Venice, great swimming right here in Sarasota. So a lot to look forward to this.
Look at this action-packed episode of On the Grid. We talked a little breaking news, a little volleyball, a little football,
and
a little
of course
swimming.
Next week the big Braden River Venice game. So.
Yes, and we'll be promoting that quite a bit.
This is the place to be.
Right, exactly. On the Grid.
On the
place
Grid.
to be.
You got it.
So for John Lembo, I'm Doug Fernandes. We'll see you next week on the Grid.